Hi everybody, it's Gina. Welcome back to the Library Mouse and welcome to October. So this is going to be a very quick September wrap-up because if you're following along, you know that September was a very stressful month for us here, but I did manage to distract myself with some pretty decent reading actually. So come along, I will share what I've been reading in September and hopefully give you an idea of what I might be reading in October. So here we are, and the few books that I read do not match the books that, if you watch this September TBR, did not, hardly any of them made it onto the books that I actually read in September, but sometimes that's the way it goes. So one of the last books that I just finished reading is Objects of My Affection, and this is written by Jill Smolinski. One thing that I thought that I would like to start doing, and I'm going to start with this book, is to highlight the authors and give you a little bit of background about the authors also, because I had never heard of Jill Smolinski before. And I found this book at the library. So she has written a couple of other novels. The next thing on my list and Flip-Flopped. She has written for major women's magazines. And she has an anthology of short stories called American Girls About Town. She lives in Los Angeles with her son. So I really enjoyed this book. It is light reading. It's light reading. So it is about a woman who is about to turn 40 and her life is kind of turned upside down. Her name is Lucy, and she winds up selling everything she owns in order to send her 19-year-old son to rehab. And in order to make some money, she decides to take an organizing job. Now, she's hired for this job because she has written a book on organization tips that she doesn't really follow. It was just kind of a fluke that she wrote it. And the book never really went anywhere, but she is hired by this eccentric artist's son, and the artist is basically a hoarder, and it's Lucy's job to go in there and get her house cleaned up and get things organized to sell by a certain date. And the date is arbitrary, and it was made by the artist herself. Her name is Marva, and she just doesn't cooperate. Like, she doesn't cooperate even though she is the one that wants the house cleaned out. So it really focuses on the relationship that Lucy and Marva develop through the time that Lucy is working there. There's backstories with Lucy and her son and their relationship and what she discovers about herself. And there's also a side story about Lucy and her old boyfriend, Daniel, who is kind of always in the background. I thought it was really good. It was a very good book, studying all of the different relationships, also kind of giving you a glimpse into what makes a person hoard things. I thought the author did a really good job with that. And yeah, it's just a very nice, happy ending kind of book that, if that's what you enjoy, which I do, this was very good. As you can see, it is another day. And I just wanted to finish up my September, what did I read? So, the one that you saw me reading a lot was The Perfect Couple by Elin Hildebrand. So, as I've said numerous times, she's a favorite author of mine of beach reads, light reading. She's one of those authors that I know if I see a book of hers that I have not read, if I pick it up, 99% of the time, I'm going to enjoy it. Perfect Couple was hi Nellie. Perfect Couple was no different. So basically, the Perfect Couple, it takes place on Nantucket, where most of Elin Hildebrand's books take place. Elin Hildebrand, by the way, is from Nantucket. She's a graduate of Johns Hopkins and the Iowa Writers Workshop. She's lived on Nantucket for 25 years, and she has 3 teenagers. This was written in 2018, so I'm sure they're not teenagers anymore. This is her 21st novel, and obviously she's written more since then. But this takes place on Nantucket. It's the height of wedding season, and a very, very wealthy family, the Otis Winberry wedding, promises to be like the event of the season. And there are numerous people who show up for this wedding, numerous storylines, entwined in the book. But basically what happens is there is a death that happens the morning of the wedding. And there are many, many, many people who have motive to kill the person who was killed. Oh, thank you. The dog just opened the curtain for me. It's much brighter in here. So as you're reading the book, it bounces from the past to the present. There's varying timelines. You get to see the past of some of the people, such as the bride, the groom, the groom's best man, the groom's family, the bride's family, the parents of the groom play a huge role, as does the parents of the bride. And you can see where they all might have some kind of motive to murder the person who was killed in the book. So it's very good. It keeps you reading. I couldn't put it down. I really enjoyed it. I didn't love many of the characters, but it was a really good mystery. This is a show right now on Netflix with Nicole Kidman, and I had started watching it, and then I picked up the book, finished the book, and then finished the series. And the series and the book end in completely different ways. Like what happens and who done it in the book is not who done it in the series. It was different. It was different. But I had been following Elin Hildebrand on her Instagram account, and she was talking about, she was there, she agreed with what they did for the sake of the show. So, excellent book. If you like a mystery, if you like some light reading, if you like beachy reads, this is a great book for you. So, Alice Hoffman lives in Boston. I didn't realize she had a bout of breast cancer and started it's the Hoffman Cancer Institute in Boston. I'm going to double check and put that down below. You'd think I would remember it. I just read it, but I don't. That's what happens when I take a nap in the middle of the day. But anyway, Alice Hoffman's here on Earth. What can I say about this book? So I love the way it's written. She's very eloquent. I love the way she writes. She's not excessively wordy. She gets her point across very beautifully. The storyline moves along. I just enjoy her writing. Like, I enjoy reading her writing. I didn't love this book. I think the main problem that I have with this book is that I didn't like the characters at all, really. So basically it's about this woman named March Murray, and she has lived for 19 years in California. But at the death of the woman who was pretty much her caretaker, she comes back to her hometown for the funeral. She brings her teenage daughter with her, who is very much your typical, you know, mouthy teen, defiant. The teen, I do feel like she grows on you as the story goes along. You can see why she is so irritated with her mother all the time, because I was irritated with her mother all the time. So the thing with March is that she left to go to California because she had fallen for this boy named Hollis, and he kind of left. And she sat and waited for him for a few years and decided, I'm not waiting for him to show up anymore. I'm leaving. I'm going on about my life, which is what she did. She got married. She had a child. She lived in California. But then she comes back home. And guess what? This boy still lives in their hometown. Obviously, he's not a boy. He's a man now. A very rich man. He is not a nice person. You know, there's sometimes when you root for the underdog, and I didn't feel like rooting for him at all. He's mean. He was a mean, self-centered man. And she seemed like she didn't have any control over her emotions or feelings. And throughout the book, you're just upset with her for the way she's acting. You're upset with the way she's treating her husband and daughter. You're upset with the way that she's letting Hollis treat her. You're upset with the way Hollis is treating people. So yeah, you feel a lot like you keep hoping though throughout the book that someone's going to come to their senses one day. I won't give away the ending, but I would probably give this book a 3.5. I loved the writing style, but I didn't love the plot. I would like to try reading Practical Magic. I love the movie because I'm a big fan of Sandra Bullock. I have not read Practical Magic, and I know there is a prequel that was written in 2020 that would be interesting to read too. But 3.5 stars for this book. So there you have it. The books that I read this month for September. Now, what am I reading for next month? I have decided that one book a month, I am going to read a Newbery Award winner. And I decided to just go back 10 years. So the first book that I'm currently reading is called Flora and Ulysses. As a teacher, I have not read this book. I should have read this book, but I have not read this book. So that is going to be the first Newbery Award winner that I read and review for next month. I still have many of the books that I talked about for my September TBR that I just did not touch because I own them. And so when I get library books, I feel like I need to read them because I have to return them. So I have Flora and Ulysses on my tablet. So I'm definitely going to be doing one Newbery. I know October is the month for scary, suspense, ghostly stories. I'm not a fan of them. I might try to find one to read, but I don't know. I would like to find a banned book to read. And then I don't know. I guess I just want to be open to whatever comes along. So that is my little short roundup. I'm going to be working on a vlog in the next few days, so you can look forward to that next. And yes, I have tag videos that I have to do. So my next video will definitely be a tag video. So thanks everybody for your messages and kind words about my husband. I'll talk a little bit more about what's going on in my vlog, but until that time, happy reading. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, comment, always appreciate that. Okay, happy reading. Bye-bye.